Let's do it. Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
Good morning, the Rise Up Morning Show.
Ah, yes, there's the jingle. We've been back.
shit.
We've been away. Check yourself before you wreck yourself is the theme of this episode, or check those guys out, as Kim said. I don't know about you, man, but after going to that conference, after going to the Stellar event, where we've been for the last 6 or so days, I'm pretty bullish on crypto, blockchain, bullish on friends, bullish on the people who are working in our space. And I got to say, I'm a big believer that it's definitely not the tech that's the problem. I think it's the story, and people are trying to tell a better one. What do you think, man?
No, for sure. These things always do the same thing. I'm way more excited about the cool stuff, and I'm way more angry about the dumb stuff after every one of these events.
Yeah, me too. There's definitely still dumb stuff, but there was a lot of cool
Definitely.
stuff to see.
No, there was. And this was an interesting conference because unlike pretty much every other event I've been to, and we actually got a chance to hang out with the creative team from the block and share some feedback for the conference, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They were very gracious about hearing all sorts of input. This one did not feel like a trade show, as is normally the case, which, you know, I don't have an issue with.
No.
But now going into where there was no huge trade floor, there weren't a bunch of booths, I think I prefer this model because there's this phenomenon, right? When you're walking through the trade floor and there's stuff you might want to talk about, you might not want to talk to, whatever, and you have to walk past these poor, sad people behind the desk they paid $20,000 to sit behind with their banner. And if you're not into it, you just have to kind of awkwardly walk away from them or sit there and begrudgingly speak for a little bit. And so that was absolutely not a thing at this one. And I'm very appreciative that I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
When you have to sit there and talk to everybody, it's not that fun if they're just selling crap. Thank you for the warm wishes and welcome backs. I really appreciate it. We've missed you guys. Will has done a fantastic job holding down the fort, and he's just
Of course.
running late finishing a video. You know, he's always working to give that market update for everybody in the morning, so he wanted to get that out before he came live, and we said, listen, man, you've been working hard. Go ahead. Go do it. Once he's got his coffee, he'll be back with us. And I don't know what Will has covered in our absence, but Alex, I've got a whole list of things we can pick from, and I'm sure you do too. Do you want? Can I just read some headlines for you, and maybe you can read some to me, and then we can pick from that?
As long as we get to start with the mention that nature has healed and unfounded Cardano bull posts are back in the crypto panic trending box.
Oh,
And for
does that mean nature has really healed though?
Nature has healed. Pro analysts are calling for $5 Cardano again. Nature is healed.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm kind of bearish on that. I've seen a lot of people that I know, like, and trust say,
Well, yeah,
we're going down low tonight. And, you know, they're talking about crypto like they're talking about the weather. So I don't know.
All right, hit the list. What do you got?
Okay, so here's my list. The first thing on the list is,
Hey.
Hi, Will. I'm bringing you up to the TikTok stream too. So good to see you. Thank you very much for holding things down in the absence of StreamYard. You had some really, really fantastic streams whenever we got to catch them.
So we certainly did. It was great. I was untethered and then not weighed down by these two ball and chains attached to me. I was able to fly, spread my wings.
Oh, no.
Mom and Dad weren't here, and Will could just give unsolicited financial advice to the chat for hours uninterrupted.
And Mom and Dad weren't here, which meant we all had pizza bites every night for dinner. It was great.
Oh, man. I can't believe we missed that.
Yeah, dude.
well-
I'm going to be so fat for when we're together.
Speaking of which, get excited because next week we're going to be broadcasting live in person together. We decided it was enough. So we're going to have a couple of sort of special edition episodes. That'll be the Rise Up Morning Show live and in person, better than ever. So here are some topics that I have that I'm going to run down it. I don't know if you covered these things, Will, and whatever you guys are interested, we can take it wherever you want. Trump's new pick for the SEC, Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, choose rich Knicks banana on the yacht incident. Answering the question, thoughts on XLM with new context from our friends at Stellar. And talking a little bit about Casey getting funded for Euphoria, or a special segment of the Crypto 8 Ball where you ask us your crypto questions and I ask the infinitely wise Magic 8 Ball for financial advice, like buy Bitcoin.
And also,
not to brag, but I still have my Magic 8 Ball from the Star Wars theatrical release of Phantom Menace, which they gave at the movie theater. Not gonna lie.
No way.
Not gonna lie. It's
That's
Yoda sitting in like his Jedi Council chair. It's pretty sick.
That's good.
Okay, Alex, what did you have? Did you have a couple stories?
Yeah, so just one big one, trendy headline that I grabbed that I thought was interesting. Have not dug into it, but excited to look into it and see if this is clickbait or if this is real. Amazon shareholders, and there's multiple stories about this, Amazon shareholders pushing the company to add Bitcoin to its balance sheet to combat inflation.
I saw that, and I didn't look into it. I just kind of saw the news. It was like, hell yeah, but I didn't look into it to verify it.
Well, isn't the Microsoft vote today? So it's like they're trying to newsjack it.
The vote is tomorrow for Microsoft.
Tomorrow for Microsoft.
In fact, let me just verify that Microsoft Bitcoin vote.
Please do, because that's going to be a big
It
moment.
should be tomorrow. I had the 10th in my head.
And what
yes,
about
it is tomorrow.
Okay, and what about you, Will? And what about you in the chat if you're watching and there's a particular question? I saw somebody ask about Ripple versus Swift and yada, 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 which honestly I think is a good one too. Is there anything particular you wanted to cover, Will? Because I can hit some of these just real fast if you haven't touched them yet.
I can talk about the Paul at the SEC you mentioned, because I don't really know anything about the new cryptos are. I didn't look into it.
Oh man, wait till you get the update for that.
On this
oh yeah,
yes,
all right,
better than you think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to trade.
Am I excited or am I bearish?
I promise.
Mega bullish.
I promise. If we let you sit here for the entire show and just had you guess what we were going to tell you about this guy over and over again, you would never get it.
I'd be like, was he the dude who he and his family sold everything that they had and invested into Bitcoin like 8 years ago?
He just guesses right away. Would be hilarious.
Not even.
Yeah.
Tell us about Paul at the SEC and give us an update on that, because I haven't gotten a chance to look in beyond his very, very surface level resume to feel like maybe I should be excited. And then we'll tell you about David.
So the funny thing is I always forget his last name because he just has such a very friendly, approachable first name, Paul.
Isn't it Paul?
I'm just
Atkins? Am I nuts?
No, that's the Atkins diet.
Is that really what Mr. Atkins' name is?
Paul Atkins. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. No, it's
It's Paul Atkins. It's Paul Atkins.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
I made a video on him and everything. I'm sorry, Paul. I barely know you, and here I am on a first name basis. So anyway, Paul is the new head of the SEC. Paul, basically his resume is he was the former head of the SEC during George Bush's administration from 2002 to 2008. Before that, he did work in the SEC in their Department of Financial Operations. So in terms of picking somebody with experience, this is a very good pick. Also, as far as financial and economic theory goes, he is basically the level 55 wizard of your D&D campaign who's carrying you, except that's how the Republican Party GOP financial economic thoughts thinks of him. Everyone go to him for mentorship. Everyone goes to him to check their to check how their business on Wall Street will be impacted by government, and use him as a go-between, as a middleman to foster communication between Wall Street and the government. Have for years. He's basically just their number one guy in terms of GOP financial thought. So what does that mean? It means he really dislikes he really dislikes heavy regulation. He likes regulation. He dislikes heavy regulation. He does not like the SEC being able to fine people gigantic amounts, because he views the SEC's ability to fine companies by gigantic amounts ultimately just damages and hurts the shareholders of those companies. And he's also a big believer in cryptocurrency and digital assets as a form of fostering growth in the United States, which would be good for investors long term. And he is very, 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 very pro free market. So he is also not a fan of tariffs in any way, shape, or form. I like him being the head of the SEC for a lot of reasons. The only thing that worries me about him is because he is so against heavy regulation. He is the most outspoken critic of Dodd-Frank, which is the banking regulation that went in after the 2008 recession. And granted, I am not an expert on Dodd-Frank. I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know what I like and don't like about it. I just know that it is stopping banks from creating another 2008, and I like that. And I don't know if there are things to remove from it that would be fine. I don't know enough, but it just makes me a little worried that like he's the most outspoken critic of that. But that's just an example of like how he doesn't like heavy regulation. Ultimately, though, he's probably the best pick you could possibly have for the cryptocurrency space.
I'm sure that I would agree with you, Will, and it's important to highlight that, yeah, we're definitely not Dodd-Frank experts. I certainly am not. I would hazard a guess that I'm sure there's something in there that could be worked on. I would agree with you, though. The piece that often makes me nervous is that sometimes GOP strategy for handling pieces of regulatory frameworks that they don't enjoy is to clobber it to death with a baseball bat and then not replace it with anything, which is probably not the most ideal.
Not ideal.
But in the short term, in the short term,
would be, I mean,
so much
there's got to be. We got to get a guest who can talk about that. I'm sure I can wrangle up somebody, but
yeah, that'd be fascinating.
Quick update on my Amazon shareholder thing. It is, as I suspected, a headline blowing something out of proportion, although not entirely false.
Ooh, okay.
Essentially, what it is that there was an official shareholder request that the board assess Bitcoin as a possibility and determine whether or not it makes sense to add it to the balance sheet. So it's not like a bull post but it is encouraging to see that it would be officially considered. Nothing says it would be added or approved. It was not an official request by anyone to add it. It was a request by people who are probably curious to see whether or not it would be a good idea.
Okay, so the ball's rolling there a little bit. Yeah. It just hasn't gone down fast.
Healthy first step, yeah. But I think the headlines blow it a little out of proportion. But there's the update.
Okay.
Anyway,
solid. Love that. I actually do have an update on top of this because I don't know how closely you guys have been paying attention to Twitter and
not
to
at all.
Dennis Porter's tweeters.
Yes.
Also,
he's the only one I'm following right now. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Him and Choose Rich Nick are the only things I'm watching at the moment.
Yeah. So for those of you in the chats, Dennis Porter is the world's #1 Bitcoin lobbyist. Like the world, like Washington D.C., every national government. Like he's the dude. Had him on the show. Fantastic guy. Also,
is even like, you know how no one's even in his rearview mirror. He's leagues ahead of everybody.
He's the dude. You go follow Dennis Porter on Twitter to figure out what the hell nation states and states are doing with Bitcoin. And he was bull tweeting last week. He was like, hey, I have 7 media outlets all set up to report on this news that we have to share. It was like,
we have 3. Wait, never mind. We have 5. 4. Wait, never mind.
We have 7. Every news media outlet is, And so there's going to be some good news for Bitcoin adoption. And for the folks on TikTok, you can't see it, but the folks on Twitter and YouTube, I believe you can see. We have Dennis Porter's Twitter up. But there should be some very good news for Bitcoin coming out this week from a either multi-state level in the U.S. or a nation-state level across multiple or 1 or 2 nation states. It's going to be something big. Now, you have to ask yourself the question, right? If you saw my Bitcoin, well, actually, if you're on this live, you probably didn't see my Bitcoin update video. But I'm expecting there to be a correction. We're seeing some short-term bearish momentum, and then I'm basically calling for like a continuation of a Santa rally for things to then just like pop off again. So I'm looking at like a week, maybe 2 weeks of selling, which would be super healthy. Which would mean that any news release we get is a buy the rumor, sell the news. But Microsoft comes out tomorrow and they're like, hey, we're buying Bitcoin. And then Dennis Porter releases some shit that's like, hey, 3 countries are also going to have strategic Bitcoin reserves. That might be enough of a shot in the arm to just stop that buy the rumor, sell the news, and then just have it just be buy, you know?
Yep.
So we'll see.
You know, I had a thought too, and I don't want to just, be the bear. But I feel like it's worth mentioning at least.
Papa, no.
Get it? No, get it.
No, I was eating pizza bites every day before you guys came back.
Just a thought. Just a
That
little,
could be a clip.
Just a little thought to put in heads. We all know that it's possible to make money in a market that is crashing. Okay, shorts are definitely a thing. Liquidating the longs, all that good stuff. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that this cohort of hyper bulls who might have very strong long-term convictions in something would be able to swing in not just with actual capital allocations, but also news generation to push prices higher and faster than perhaps makes sense. Keep them there for long enough to convince people that we're never going back down to revisit any sort of, sub 80, sub 70, whatever. And then just doing something catastrophic to allow them to capitalize on a short, rebuy everything a lot lower. Perhaps some of them feel like they're late to the party. Restart bull engine. I still think there's heavy chances and possibilities of manipulated larger swings. And it's a little concerning to me that every time we set a new higher high, we go back 1 or 2K below it and just sit there for 2 weeks and then make another one.
Mm-hmm. Alex, are you telling me that hedge fund?
I couldn't possibly be suggesting that hedge fund's gonna hedge. Hedger's gonna hedge.
Oh my goodness.
Wild, man. Totally wild. Speaking of hedge funders and gonna hedge, can I give you this quick update on future crypto czar David Sachs?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. I'd love to.
I do want Will to take one more guess before we say anything, though.
Yeah, do you have one more guess? And I'll say to anybody in the audience, do you have any guesses?
Never gonna guess.
Yeah.
So think outside the box.
His first job was Barney on live TV when his tail caught on fire because he had too many illegal substances in his tail, and so it starts smoking on live TV.
Okay, that's
oh
a
my God,
guess.
how did you get it?
Guys, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so here's the news is that we were outside the conference the other night when I got a phone call. It was Kimberly. And Kimberly told me, she said, oh my God. She said, do you know the new crypto czar, David Sachs? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, I thought it can't be the David Sachs I know. Surely it can't be. And I did a Google search and it was. And do you believe this? Kimberly took tango lessons from David Sachs' mother. He was born in South Africa.
Oh, I was like, he immigrated tangos?
To, I am sure he does. Are you kidding me?
Does,
and she has known him since pre-PayPal days and was like, yeah, I looked him up and there he was, little old David. She said,
little old David.
So used to be that Kimberly was into crypto because we worked here and she knew us and she knew me, but now she knows the crypto czar. So
she knows the crypto czar, which means we will get the crypto czar on the show.
We got to see about getting David Sachs on the show. We've got an in that goes way back to his mother.
Not only
assuming, of course, TikTok's still here.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. Can we I just want to, because there's so much clickbaity stuff going around, and I'm certainly not an expert, but I do want to point out at least one or two little things about just the logistics of actually
that Eagle AI to the moon. Correct. No. Yeah.
So bearish on basically anything that brands their project as something AI. Immediately bearish.
Yeah, immediately bearish.
Okay, so the TikTok ban theoretically goes into effect on January 19th, which notably one day before the inauguration. Just for the record, zero policy gets done the day before the election. Okay, it's a ceremonial day. It is the day. Have you ever known the government to miss a deadline? I don't know, every year when they shut down because they can't pass a budget, just for starters.
For example.
But isn't it kind of cute?
It's kind of cute. Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
So we're pretending right now that we're going to abide by this deadline. So that's point number one. Point number two, incoming administration has a lot of money ties that really don't want to see TikTok be removed from the United States. Including personal friends of the incoming president who are the majority shareholders in TikTok as a company. So fun fact, right? It was a bullshit force anyway, because even if TikTok wanted to sell, they couldn't. They are not all owned by one single thing. And actually an American owns a 20% stock and he's personal friends with the incoming president. So there's that. Extremely unlikely that it just goes away. Two, even if it did, what that means is that it's removed from the App Store, not from your devices, meaning that it
Yes,
still
correct.
continues to function completely as normal. You just won't get software updates anymore, which I'm sure somebody will figure immediately out how to download software updates, because what happens when you try to ban something like this? It usually doesn't work. However, basically what that does is just put you on a clock. Not that like January 20th rolls around, all of a sudden the app is gone from your phone. It's gone forever. Everything ceases to exist. Could it face some struggles? Sure. Is it possible that it's removed from the App Store temporarily? Sure. I will really just have to wait and see, but there's a lot of competing money interests now in the White House that will probably duke it out over it. Mark Zuckerberg cozying up and starting to lick a boot or two. Elon Musk, obviously being Elon, both of them having massive social media interests that are really threatened by TikTok. Also, though, the majority shareholder in TikTok as a company being an American.
From a negotiation standpoint, now I do not negotiate on the scale of nation states, but I negotiate multi-million-dollar deals with the largest companies in the world. I've been doing it for a while, and it's just like, if I think about, if I'm Trump coming into the United States and you have the current global situation, just, across the world, and you're looking at China, obviously like our number one kind of friend, but also number one rival. There's a lot on the table. There are a lot of levers right now to press from a negotiation standpoint to get future deals that could actually be really, really good. So you have Trump coming in with a threat of tariffs, right? So I'm coming in with a hammer, strong position. From a negotiating standpoint, I'm just talking about negotiations. I'm not talking about economic policy, right? Tariffs are bad. And you also have China. You got to look at China's situation. The U.S. economy is super strong right now. The Chinese economy has been barely crawling along for the past 4 years right now because their real estate market has really, 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 really taken a tumble. At the same time, their political alliances have started to weaken as well. North Korea was solely dependent on China. But now that North Korea has had the opportunity to cozy up with Russia more to support them in the Ukraine war, that relationship is changed. They don't have as much influence over North Korea now as they did before, which China hates. The other thing, too, is in order for China to go after Taiwan and to take more territory in the Chinese and Asian seas, they need Russia to be a big and scary guy. Russia is not a big, scary guy right now. Their ruble is crashing. Their economy is finally tanking because of the sanctions. And even though they're making ground and have been over the past 9 months or so in Ukraine, they've thoroughly been embarrassed there. And they're hemorrhaging money, right? So you have Russia that is weakening.
For China, the record, we want that to continue because
we do to a point.
Also, just for the record, as we just left Europe, I did not encounter a single individual conference-wide, crypto company included, who are not concerned about Russian forays into Europe should Ukraine not.
Yeah. It was a prominent topic of discussion.
Almost like that's what Russia is supposed
100%.
to do. Like if you are Russia, you're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, if I was playing Monopoly with their pieces, 100%. That's
if you're playing exactly, you're playing it the way it's playing out right now. So they're playing the cards that they've been dealt, and it results in people dying. But that's geopolitics. But anyway, so focusing back on China though. China's in a weak position politically. They look at Russia as weakening. They look at NATO as strengthening. Although in the past week or so, Europe's gotten a little shaky. You have Romania, you have the French government falling apart. German government fell apart a month ago. Anyway, regardless, we're talking about negotiating here. China very much so wants to expand their influence in their territory. They want land just north of China that Russia took in World War II. They want control and influence over North Korea. And they also want Taiwan, and they want to expand their sea straits. They cannot do that if things are not happy at home, because China's number one threat historically is China itself. The only thing that can tear apart China, other than Mongolian hordes, is the Chinese people themselves. If the Chinese people are not happy, you got problems. Because even though, if you're not familiar with China, China is an incredibly diverse country in terms of like ethnic and cultural groups. If you're a Westerner, you just look and you're like, oh, they're all Chinese. It's very, very ethnically diverse, actually. And if you're not used to that culture, you won't see it out the gate. And so you have had a long history of if there are economic problems at home, things can fall apart internally very, very quickly. And so China very much so desperately wants to shore up their economy. They want good economic things with the US as their largest trading partner to shore that up so that long term they can continue their long game of trying to grab a few more pieces. And the Chinese government knows that. The US government, long-term strategists know that. And so you're coming to this table right now where China just hit the US and said, hey, we're going to ban these 3 critical natural resources for your economy. 100% ban. And we do have strong allies that produce it as well, but China across those 3 items produce 88 to 98% of the total world supply. So it's a problem. And now in the United States, Trump's going to get into office one day after the TikTok ban goes through. TikTok, incredibly profitable company. China does have a backdoor there. There's a legitimate national security concern. But here's the thing. You have so many issues. You have the United States banning high tech to China because they are pushing it to Russia to make weapons. You have China banning natural resources. You have the TikTok ban happening. You have, we also banned US workers with like high skills from actually doing any work for Chinese companies. You have all these things that if we wanted to really have like a big economic boon for the country, get cheap things, expand businesses. There are so many things where we go, hey, China, let's work on these things. You want to be friends with us right now? We can help you box in North Korea more for you. If you help us with Russia, we can focus a little bit more on Europe. And like there's so many items for discussion and so many things to negotiate on. I am actually pretty optimistic over the next 4 years for our ability to get some type of deal with China that could actually open up the gates a bit. Now, if Trump comes out, I think it would, and he's like, boom, those tariffs I said day one happening. I think that would be a bad first step towards that. So like that's the biggest thing I'm kind of looking for. But I do think there's just so many areas where we can negotiate with China right now that it could be a really big boon while China's political and economic security continues to degrade. Not at like a fast pace, but it is continuously degrading. So I'm really curious to hear about that. I forget what set me off on this rant, but I really like talking about it.
We were talking. You took the TikTok ban and ran with it after we touched on David.
Yeah, and so that's just what I'm thinking about. So I think Trump campaigned on he is not a fan of the TikTok ban, but Trump cannot just stop the TikTok ban. This is something that was passed by Congress, so he would have to work through his influence in Congress to do that. What I found fascinating, Alex, is what you said is all the close ties of shareholders of TikTok. So that is just like extra confidence to me that Trump would eventually kind of work his way through that to unban TikTok. And I think because the financial incentive is there, everyone knows, if you guys know me, philosophically, if you want things to happen, direct the money towards it, and then the things happen. That to me is human nature, which creates really fun conversations with me and Evan, because Evan
it may or may not be human nature, but it's definitely the ultimate incentive. I can agree with you on
so that money incentive is there. And what the thing is if that money incentive is there, if you're like, cool, I'm gonna unban TikTok, well, let's just walk through this door fully and let's negotiate with China. You know, like if I'm gonna play that card no matter what, let's get some deals in. Let's get some deals that boost economic growth. You know, you get a few, rah pieces that are going to be good politically to talk about, and then also would be good for the economy overall. That's what I think. Like the money is pointed right there. And if there's one thing I believe more than anything, it's that Trump will go to the money.
Oh, he said,
come for him.
And I think I'm inclined to agree. Hey, if you are just tuning into our fake radio show, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central for Rise Up After Dark. And I just wanted to let you know, these are our only profiles. We have a lot of impersonators on the internet because we talk about finance adjacent topics. They're going to DM you. They're going to say, how's your trading going? How are the markets treating you? Do you want to hear an interesting investment opportunity? But I promise you, that is not us. You need to just flush them down the toilet. You need to run the other way because those people, they are trying to scam you. They are not your teachers. We only have these profiles. Thank you. Yeah. He said fake radio show, so I took that personally. And if you got a crypto question, this is the place for it.
It's like that Michael Jordan. If you guys saw the Michael Jordan documentary, it's like,
personally.
and I took that personally.
I know that's the sound I needed. And then I also have wished I had show me the money like 3 times this morning. And also let's make a deal. Sounds I don't have that I wish I did. We've had a lot of good questions scroll by in the chat too. And we've had a lot of good things here that we floated around. Alex, did you respond to one that you said, yes, let's take it there next? Did I miss it?
There were a few. One that I think we can address really quickly without having to spend too much airtime on it, just because, Evan, your videos are great. And I assume they're in a playlist, but if not, put them in one. Homework for the homework for exchanges.
Yes. No, I don't have a separate playlist for them. They're just in big playlists. At the top of my profile, you can learn Web3 or investing in crypto. Great playlist to start.
To create like a homework playlist, because you're kind of starting a little bit of a trend there, and I think that would be a good one. But definitely look at if you're curious about like, hey, I have a crypto.com, I have a Coinbase, I have a Kraken, a Binance, or whatever account. I have some crypto there and I don't know what to do next. I would like to secure it. I'd like to move it somewhere. I don't want it on the exchange anymore, whatever. Evan's got a bunch of videos going through a series of different exchanges. I would encourage you to start there. And then if you have further questions from there, bring them back to us, bring them to Discord, kind of go through that whole thing. Most of these exchanges have the exact same methodology for removing. They just look a little bit different. So it's kind of just being able to click through, find the withdraw and receive and all that sort of stuff. And then one question that was not in the chat, but I feel like is worth putting in here just because I got it via text over the weekend from a new friend of mine who is asking about when to start using cold storage and what makes sense, and commented to me that one of their friends told them that it's not worth it until you have at least $50,000 invested in crypto. Only then does it make sense to get a cold storage wallet. And I was like, that is complete and utter nonsense.
Silly.
Yeah, to which I responded, if $50,000 is an insignificant amount of money for you, can you introduce me to that friend? Because I want to make a deal with him.
Are you looking to adopt a 33-year-old with 6 dogs?
Are you looking to race a sailboat with me?
So, for the record, cold storage is never a bad idea. And for me, the second you have more money than the cost of the wallet, it's worth it to put it in cold storage.
Yeah.
At this point, the process to move things in and out of a cold storage device, if you should decide that, you know what, I actually do want to sell that, is so fast that it's really just adding yourselves a couple steps, which are the secure. It's not like it takes days or weeks to get it out of cold storage or anything like that. So please, if you have money of any amount that you would not be happy with losing access to, it is worth it to get a cold storage device.
Great follow-up question here is about fees. Alex, can you touch on the fees about like how costly it is? If I had that $50,000 portfolio and I wanted to move it to cold storage, does it depend on the kind of device I'm sending it to or the wallet I'm sending it to, so how much it's going to cost?
When you're dealing with amounts like that, this is something that I've been seeing a few messages about lately. People who have larger amounts on exchanges and they're looking to sell, take profits, do whatever, and they're flabbergasted and gobsmacked by the fees. That is kind of why hot wallet, decentralized exchange, cold storage, because there are ways that you can swap things in and out of stable coins off of exchanges and save yourself those obscene trading fees. And if you've made 20, 30, 40, 50,000 plus dollars, the fees are going to start to get hefty because that is how these things make their money. You might notice when trading on something like Coinbase that you don't have to pay ETH gas. So they it's like the Costco rotisserie chicken. They eat loss on ETH gas by overcharging fees everywhere else.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly.
That evens it out. That is their revenue model, which for the record is completely fine. They're a business. They're allowed to make money. However, you don't have to exclusively sell and trade on a centralized exchange.
Here's my thought process. So, if you can avoid the fees, good, great, grand, wonderful, go for it, right? Trading stable coins on decentralized exchange, bring them back over, convert into cash, bring to your bank account, But at the end of the day, to me, like, I just kind of view it as a wash because fees are write-offs. You know, you don't pay taxes on the fees. So it's like that money is leaving me either way. So it's, in my personal opinion, I go, do I want that money to go to the government, or would I rather have it go to Coinbase? I'd rather have it go to Coinbase personally. So that's my thought process. So I'm like, I'm losing this money no matter what. Yeah, take it. And also, and then I pay for Coinbase One, so I do get a reduction.
Yeah,
there,
definitely keep track of those fees
thing.
though. Write the fees down. You can deduct those. Don't just piss the fees away.
But I think for a lot of people who maybe don't have like strong financial infrastructure, like a business setup or tax acumen, who are just like trying to get into this thing and don't want to find out later that they're going to owe a lot of money, that it can be something you check out on the front end. If you've only got $100 in crypto and you're going to pay a gas fee, I want to say really quick too, we've been throwing some jargon around, slow this down to let you know, every time you interact with a blockchain, you incur a fee called a gas fee. Some networks have higher fees than others. The most notorious is the Ethereum network, where there's a lot of stuff to do. So you'll encounter it frequently. And fees can be, you know, anywhere from like $8 on a slow day just to send something to 30, 50, 150. We've seen literally thousands of dollars at a time in fees when the blockchain is congested, proof of work days. So you want to understand how to mitigate these. Like Alex said, you can use an exchange that kind of abstracts the fees away, but they're going to hit you with other fees. I had a follower who said about their Robinhood experience recently. They've had like, I think it was like $10,000 on chain, and they were trying to move it off Robinhood onto, you know, another platform, maybe Exodus or Trust Wallet, something where they held the keys. They had a seed phrase, self-custody, we call it. And they could only move like a couple $100 at a time. And it was like each day their limit would reset. So as you get into crypto, often you buy first and ask questions later, but all these fees, all this information is available like one Google search away. And I would plug, you know, our Discord community and say, like, if you're feeling overwhelmed by that, or you just want to talk to some people before you jump in, having a community is a great place to go to ask, like, what do you guys use? What do you find the lowest fees are? Or what do you find is the easiest? I don't mind paying fees. There's an option for everybody. Really, all that's missing is you. And the link is on the screen to our Discord community. If you need a community, it's a great place to be. It's discord.gg/riseup. It's totally free to join, and we'd love to see you there. So, you know, do your homework ahead of time.
Did you guys have you guys seen some of like the comments in our Discord lately?
We've had a big time great talk.
They've brought like tears to my eyes.
Like, honestly.
Like I was getting like emotional, like watching some of the comments come in, where it was just, I think the one that stuck out to me was, if I had found this Discord when I first started in 2017, the amount of money that I would have today would absolutely like dumbfound me. I think he was like, he's like, I could actually potentially have like the boat of my dreams if I found this Discord. Like, it's such a good place, not shilling, education, people are helpful. And the other thing too is like, and this is like,
yeah, that was Rocket Man.
Yeah, I always had this thought process where it's like, if you go into a Discord community or like a Telegram group in crypto and you go in and you ask a question and people just like shit on you, like immediately out the gate, you know, you just ask a simple question because you don't understand. Like, oh, you don't get the ZK sync swap double X layer 17.
Have fun staying poor, bro.
You fucking poor bitch. You know, and it's just like that. Now that we've had our Discord community, it's the first time I've kind of been like an admin of one, right, and building a community. It is so very clear to me now that the culture of a Discord community comes down from the people who create it. And if you get into a Discord community and it's that kind of shit, those people who run it are just shit awful people. They're shit awful grifter douchebag people, because they push that culture down into their people and their Discord community. So if you hop into a Discord for a particular project or content creator and it's just a cesspool, probably that person's a douchebag. Because I know that both of you guys are good guys. I like to think I'm a good guy, and we're here to help you. We're here to help everybody. And help as many people as possible. And that is what, because I've also been worried. I'm like, all right, we're going to have to police this Discord community. We might have to like prune some people out of it who come in and shit post or are mean or, you know, aren't help. And like, that hasn't happened. We haven't had to do that once. I think 1 or 2 times in a live, we've had to be like, stop it. And then they just go, and they all look at us and they go, okay. We're like,
even in Discord one time, and it was just like a, hey, not the place. Okay, got it. Apologies.
Yeah. Ooh,
Never
Also,
happened.
then the community deserves a shout out too, like the folks in the
100%.
chat who are there
almost
every day and like taking care of the community as if that's what I like to say is it's not my community, it's our community, and everybody treats it like that. And
Yeah.
there's there's men, there's women, there's people from all over the world. I don't know. It's a great place, and the only thing missing is you. So if you can't read the on-screen text that's right here on TikTok or right here on YouTube, you can follow our accounts. You can send us a DM, and we'll make sure that you get the link to join the Discord and rise up. That's what we're doing here. Speaking of rising up, can I ask you guys a question that's a slight topic change about and the thought just left my
But yes, you certainly can if you remember it. Just a quick aside. I do have to dip in just a few minutes for some other work things.
Boo.
I know.
Oh man, I was gonna ask such a good question. I already know it.
I have a ton of follow-up to do this week. So if you've tagged me in Discord, I have all of the comments bookmarked and we'll be going through. And just a quick shout out, I put this in this morning, but if you're on the premium and premium plus side and you have video requests, please feel free to put them out. Misty had a fantastic request that was a really great prompt for, where does the small investor fit into the bull run? I don't have $20,000. Am I still allowed to be here? And this was actually one of the prevalent motifs that I was communicating to people like the Stellar marketing team and all of these other organizations and companies we were talking to this week, was just like, hey, listen, it's really cool to advertise your APY to people, but you got to understand there's a lot of people who, one, have never earned interest on anything, and two, genuinely believe, because I talked to them, genuinely believe that they couldn't possibly earn interest because they don't have
enough
a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of crypto. And if that message has been lost, then there's a serious disservice being done, because that's quite literally the whole point of DeFi.
Yeah, and that's also the whole point of interest. Like, compounding interest.
The whole point.
There's an amazing story. It's a kid's story, but it's such a good piece of financial education. Basically, I'll sum it up. Basically, there's a princess in India, and she convinces this like magical man, in some way, shape, or form, I forget how, to give her a penny to like pay for saving it. She saved him, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'd like to thank you. I will give you this amount of money." And the little girl says, "Let me think on the reward. I want a reward." She comes back to the magic man and says, "Hey, instead of you giving me that lump sum of money, I want you to give me a penny today. And then the next, we're going to double it. And the next, we're going to double it." And the genie's thinking, "Oh, instead of giving this woman, this princess, like a giant thing of gold, I get to give her a penny." And and runs away. Lo and behold, a penny. Next day, 2 pennies, 4 pennies, 8 pennies, 16 pennies, 32 pennies, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. To the point where at the end of the story, this magic man is emptying his entire like magical treasure trove of like exotic animals and jewels and blah, blah, blah. And like all this stuff, to the point where he's totally destitute in the span of like 3 months, totally destitute. And it's just such a powerful tool of compounding interest. That is compounding interest. Yep. You earn 10% this year. Next year, you earn 10% on that extra 10%. Next year, 6% on top of that, and the amount of money you get. That's how, if you plug it in, like a retirement calculator on Google, go and be like, hey, if I invested this much and just into like a 401k or like an IRA, and you would see like, cool, if I invested $5,000 a year at the age of 22, by the time I retire, it's $878,000 or like $1.1 million, right? It's the power of compounding interest.
There's a great story that I tell all the time. It's very similar to what Will just said. It's the chessboard conundrum, wherein, long story short, there's a king in a distant land who was very powerful and very magnanimous and wanted to make all of his people happy, and so he was letting them walk through the court and request things, and everyone was asking for this and that and whatever. And this guy showed up and said, and he put a chessboard down and put 1 grain of rice on the first square and said, "I would like you to fill the rest of the board, putting 2 on the next one, then 4, then 8, all the way to the end." And the guy's like, "You could ask for anything, and you just want a little pile of rice." And of course, by the time you get to the 64th square on a chessboard, you now have more grains of, or you would have more grains of rice than there are atoms in the observable universe, or something ridiculous. 2 to the power of 64 is a very large number. Just to point out as someone, Michael from our, the old school Faceless crypto team points out, you only need to double it a couple of times to make a massive thing. So starting a fund for yourself to learn to invest with literally as little as $10 can really snowball if you dive in, commit, fall into the rabbit hole, and just relearn, pay attention, talk, communicate, all that good stuff. You don't have to start with 100 grand. I didn't. Actually, that was one of my biggest downfalls, was starting with too much right off the bat. When I first fell in, losing my shirt,
I agree,
being way over leveraged. I was so stressed all the time. I was listening to the wrong people, and it was just awful.
I feel like more people make that mistake of starting with too much and getting in too far, too fast before they understand what to do, which costs them money, than like just accelerating what they're doing in pace with what they're learning.
Internet culture is so bad for that, because you have people who lie to you all the time to flex wealth. And I literally still fight it in my own head all the time when I look at like taking profit on this or that, or selling this or that or whatever, because I'm like, it's only $100. Like, it's straight up not worth it. It's like, oh, that's so stupid. That is a byproduct of people on the internet lying to you about their phantom balance by photoshopping $1 million into it, commenting "stay poor."
Ooh, I should do that.
Buy my meme and hold it. So,
dude, if I had our Discord, man, I'd be so rich right now. Back in 2017, if I had our Discord.
Honestly, truly. Okay, so yeah, seriously. So Alex, you've got to go in a second. So I want to get a final thought from you. Will, I wanted to just invite you to comment on this. People, there's a really good conversation happening in the comments about the markets crashing. Oh, no, it's not. What does a crash mean? MicroStrategy is buying Bitcoin. And then I kind of wanted to just touch on the 60 minutes. We've had a couple comments about our thoughts on the 60-minute segment that they did about big crypto yesterday. And if you haven't seen it, I'll catch you up and get some commentary. But Alex, before you don't fret, we'll talk about it. Okay. Alex, do you have a last question, suggestion, good joke, word of wisdom before you ride your dog and pony into the sunset?
Just to say that I'm very happy to be back. We've got a lot of stuff this week. We made a lot of really good connections. We have more guests than we could fit on the show if we did every episode with them for the next 2 weeks. That's exciting.
Wait till we get Jenia, the Pith BD lead, on the show. He's a firecracker and total loose.
He's an after dark for sure. We invited him on to just talk shit about altcoins.
Get an adult alcoholic human beverage into him.
Oh yeah,
dude. You're gonna love him.
We met this guy Blake, who is working on marketing for the biggest companies in crypto, including Ripple, who's currently writing a stablecoin report, and he's going to come on and talk about that, covering all sorts of different stablecoins and applications. Very excited about that.
Researchers at Masari.
Yeah. Okay. My comment is we cover the Masari, crypto report every single year, and this next time we're going to cover it with one of the researchers that wrote the report. So, onwards and upwards. Very excited about that. And more. We're hanging out with the entire creativity team from Stellar, from the block. We've got our own event. I'll tease and just say we're planning, and I'm pretty excited because everyone we talked to in Prague about it is also very excited. So stay tuned for more details on that.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm super stoked. So I'm sorry
about it. See you, dude.
I'll be listening from the car, radio style, to this fake radio broadcast as I drive to work. And
this fake radio broadcast.
I will.
It is fake radio because it's not radio. It's ticky-talky and Twitter and YouTube.
Fact check yourself, brother. Exactly.
Fact check yourself, brother.
Listen. Well, Alex, thanks for making it back to broadcast with us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Drive safe, man. Will,
I will say, there is a vindictive part of me, which isn't good, but there's a vindictive part of me that, as I was telling people on TikTok, I was like, hey, took some profits here on Aerodrome, taking profits here on Morpho. I'm worried about this, There's a part of me that's like, Bitcoin go red. Because the comment section, every now and then I get somewhere, it's like, I don't get why you sell. And I'm just like, oh, buddy, oh, man. I'm just like, well, I was like, and I'm very nice, but the majority of me is just like, okay, cool, education opportunity. I want to de-risk. I see a little bit of risk. I want to de-risk. I want to secure some profits. I let a moonbag ride, blah, blah, blah. And the person's just like, dumb, just wait. It's going to go up. And I'm like, I believe that. We're on the same side. We're on the same side. I think it's going to go up further. But over the next week or two, I think there's going to be a correction. You know, I have a lot of bills for Christmas and New Year's, and I've got a little bit of money to pay off a little bit of credit card, all that kind of shit. Yeah, no, I got shit.
And
to
you've
do,
been buying
man.
since the price was low, so you got to secure it.
And they're like, dude, I can't believe you sold already. You're leaving so much on the table. I'm like, bro, I sold 50% of my aerodrome bag for 45%, and then I sold the other, and then the next 30% of it for 90%. My Morpho I sold for 84, 94, 106%. I'm pretty okay. I'm like, the thing is, it's in the crypto space, and the thing is, I'm not trying to brag. I'm pointing this out because, like, only in the crypto space can you be like, hey, I sold this for 106%, and people are like, bro, you're leaving so much on the table. I'm like, bro, I just what world? What world are we in?
What world?
We're in crypto.
Tell me why.
Where if you don't get a 10x minimum, just burn the money. Take that money and set it on fire. And it's like, oh, guys, come on. You're about to learn a painful lesson. You're about to go through a very emotional experience where you're over leveraged in a market, and you're going to watch it go down 60%. And then you're going to see people saying crypto's done, and you're going to believe it. And then you're going to sell, and then it's going to pop off again. And then you're going to go back. You're going to buy the top. You're going to do it all over again. And you're going to lose all your money.
Well, and if you're not used to hitting that sell button when you're up, then one of those times you're going to miss it. And it's going to be a bleed all the way down for maybe a year or 2 or 3 before you see some profits. And you don't want to be that guy.
And I will say, introspectively into myself, this is the first cycle of my 3 where I'm super comfortable hitting the sell button. And it comes from 2 years, the first year of riding a bag all the way up and all the way down and not selling it and experiencing that pain. And then riding a bag up, selling a good amount, but not nearly as much as I should have. And then riding that down, being like, fuck, I left money on the table again. This year, I'm just like, boom, 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 sell, 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 sell. And it's been phenomenal. I got to tell you guys, it feels really, really good because I'm watching the amount of my portfolio just go up and then stay up and then go up and stay up and then go up and stay up because I'm not fucking just riding these crashes down. It's such a better experience emotionally, psychologically, and it's also turned out to be very profitable. Crazy, guys. The only way to make money is to sell.
Selling, and also, Will, I don't know about you, but simplifying. I know you only hold a handful of positions right now, and for the last couple months. Is that different from your kind of last couple of cycles?
Oh my God, it has been so much better. So I've told people, I'm like, hey, if you're new, like, don't have more than like 7 or 10 coins. And I was on.
I even think that's too many.
Yeah, I had honestly, right now, I'm like, that's too many. I'm like 3. 3
is a great number.
3 is a good number. Triangles are strong. They have 180 degrees. Geometrically, they're very good.
Aesthetically pleasing. You can make them with your hand.
There are so many Triforces in Zelda. I love Zelda. That's a great game. Bada boom, bada bing, 3 coins. No, it's been a super enjoyable experience only having 2 and then a 3rd coin for positions that I had. I have Bitcoin, Aerodrome, and Morpho. And actually, I sold my entire Morpho position, and I'm absolutely buying in. I'm going to make Morpho my #1 position over Aerodrome pretty soon once I decide to buy back in. And so anyway, but the experience here is having just 2 real trading positions creates such simplicity. I don't have this like anxious feeling that like it's hard for me to pull up like 6 different charts, 7 different charts and really feel like I'm really paying attention to them. With 2, and then my Bitcoin, I don't even pay attention to fucking Bitcoin. I just buy it, and add it to a pile. So I don't have to worry about looking at the Bitcoin chart every day other than just figuring out what the market in general is doing. But for trading, just looking at 2 charts, I feel like I have so much more control over the health of my portfolio than being spread across 6 or 7 coins, or what I was doing even in 2023. I had like 17 coins, and I was like, because it can get away from you so quickly. There's so many good opportunities to make money out there. But it's been really nice. I've definitely been making more money. My trades have been better, and I'm less stressed only having a handful of coins that I well and truly believe in.
Okay, let me disrupt you to ask about one of them because Morpho is in the chat. You very famously made a great call on Morpho a couple weeks ago, and
also very famously made a great call on Aerodrome at 5 cents.
We'll get back there. But Morpho's the darling of the dance right now. Called it at around 120, 130. Looked for the entry on this beautiful cup and handle. It went up. It went down. It went up. Where are we at now? And give everybody what some of your targets and some of your numbers are, because the folks want an update.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I had buy targets set for Aerodrome at basically $1.80 to $1.90. It fell this morning to $1.87, but I didn't end up buying it despite that, because I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm seeing on the cards for Bitcoin a 1 or 2 week correction is totally on the cards, unless
the Santa swing.
Yeah, the Santa swing, exactly. It's going to sell, and then we'll have a Santa rally like we always do. The stock market has a Santa rally. It's what happens. People are home for the holidays, and they're like, I can make one more move before, it hits my taxes, essentially. And that's what happens. That, and also companies in the stock market have, there's just an expectation that the next quarterly release they have of their reports is going to be good because you have a Santa rally. And so that would get nullified if the news we get this week, like if Microsoft comes out tomorrow and says, hey, we're buying Bitcoin, you might see a shot in the arm for Bitcoin and it avoids that scenario and gets a bump. But if Microsoft comes out tomorrow and they're like, we decided not to do it, I mean, you'll see the market, really sell off pretty hard. So, keep your eyes on that. And if Bitcoin sells off, going back to Morpho, you could see Morpho fall to something like $1.66 to $1.40. That's what I'm seeing at on the chart. If $1.80 doesn't hold, you could see it, fall a good bit more. So, I very much so believe in Morpho. I will make Morpho my biggest bag. I'm just keeping my eyes on Bitcoin to see what's going on. And if I start to see confirmation of strength on Bitcoin, I'm putting a fat stack of cheddar into Morpho. Yeah. And so those are some areas I'm looking at.
And for people who don't know, the great thing about these, these are DeFi plays. DeFi protocols are revenue generating. Most crypto companies are venture investments, meaning you are investing pre-product, pre-service, pre-product market fit, pre-user. And so almost 99% of them fail totally. There might be a pump, you might be able to make some money. Some of them are just shell companies for a second-rate founder who's looking to get a paycheck to pay off their student loans. I don't know. Morpho or Arrow, are just like PancakeSwap or Jupiter. Names that you may or may not have heard, but that you should understand as decentralized exchanges or lending protocols. Just go to a website like DeFi Llama, DeFiLlama.com. We talk about it all the time on the show. If you miss it, grab it in the Discord sometime. These products have proof in the pudding. Often they have big time user volume, big time revenue generation, or it's easy to see where those things are flowing. And it's also easy to compare them to each other and to see, this company is solving a big problem for a lot of people in terms of its bottom line users, bottom line dollars. But it looks like the token price is way lower than all of its competitors, or it's newer than all of its competitors, or it's not listed on a major centralized exchange like Binance or Coinbase. It's really easy to build conviction on tokens like this, and with a higher degree of accuracy than, looking at this DeSci Harry Potter AI Sonic Obama Inu token. Is it going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's hard.
Well, that's to me, it's, there are so many trends that are hot in crypto: gaming, AI, DePIN, tokenization of real world assets.
You name it, man. Yeah.
You've platform cryptos, which are like your Ethereums, your Solanas, your Avalanches, your Suis. And the ones that the only ones that I really well and truly invest in, with a good percent of my portfolio, are platform cryptos, DeFi cryptos, and I'm very interested in gaming, but it's really platform and DeFi that I feel the most secure about. So if people are like, hey, what are your thoughts on DeSci? I go, hot trend, could make money. I don't invest in it.
Yeah.
People go, oh, what do you think about AI? Hot trend, good narrative. I think they're almost all bullshit scams, but you can make money on it. I'm not interested in investing. This trend, that trend. I only really invest in platform cryptos and DeFi because they're the only two trends in crypto, categories of crypto, types of crypto, that get adoption amongst their targeted audience. Platform cryptos get adoption amongst developers who are building on them and building decentralized applications and businesses and cryptocurrencies. DeFi protocols, lending protocols, decentralized exchanges, so on and so forth, have billions and billions and billions of dollars flood onto them that you can measure so very easily. And you can see who's actually getting adoption, who is valuable. I want to invest in things that are valuable. I want to invest in things that are growing businesses. Because even though I can put money into some influencer-driven coin and it could very well make me money, I don't have any confidence in it. And if I'm and my thought process is, if you are confident about your investments and your trades, you will ultimately make more money.
Yeah, and you can measure your confidence against real stuff. Like, it is so hard to measure confidence or conviction against hype. You are asking the Magic 8 Ball. And by the way, the Magic 8 Ball says it's always a good time to DCA. So there you go.
For Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Obviously, we're talking about Bitcoin.
Hang on.
Hold the phone. Yeah. Will, did you see the 60 Minutes episode last night? You didn't see it, you said?
No, I don't even know anything about this.
Dude, okay. Brad Garlinghouse got on 60 Minutes. There were lots of watch parties in the XRP community. And I would say it's a 13-minute segment. You can search for it online. It's titled Big Crypto, or Big Crypto Has Entered Politics, or something like that. And the focus of the segment was to sort of do a review of crypto's influence on the last election and what we can expect to see going forward in terms of regulation. And it was also sort of light on what is crypto, why are they spending money, and is it a good thing or a bad thing? But they really leaned heavily. They contrasted Garlinghouse with this gentleman whose name I forget, some policymaker, influential, a Washington influencer, who was super bearish on crypto, who basically explicitly said crypto makes crime, every kind of crime, easier. He talked about, trafficking of kids. He talked about, he laid it out on the floor, and the journalist did not really question him on that, but kind of leaned into it by saying, like, the FTX collapse and and how do we trust it? And Garlinghouse, for his part, I don't think it could have been how they edited it. He did not do a really good job of helping people understand like what this is beyond. The lady talked a lot about how people will speculate on crypto tokens and made it sound like all crypto is a vehicle for speculation. And he, rather than maybe addressing that with helpful information, just kind of said, well, whatever people want to do with it, that's their business. But which is true, but I don't know. The TLDR is 60 Minutes is talking about crypto, and they're talking about it like most big media has talked about it, which is to say that they have sort of a bias against it.
Which is fine, because now they are very much so in the what's the word? They're
in the power minority.
Yeah, they're in the power minority.
That's the word you're looking for, but
yeah,
it's
works.
A popular opinion, but it's losing power.
So
Crypto's inevitable.
All I gotta say is suck it, nerds.
Suck it, nerds. Yeah, that was my take on it too. So if you had a take on it, let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it, you can Google 60 Minutes Big Crypto.
Wait, oh my God, Blue Seal just reminded me about the Hawk Tua coin. I meant to make a video on that.
Have you talked about it on the show?
No, I haven't talked about it at all.
We've had a week in influencers. You want to give the preview?
First of all, absolute top signal. Right? Like, if we're selling, it's because of Hawk Tua girl, but I'm sure everyone knows who the Hawk Tua girl is. You saw the famous meme, very viral meme. She became famous like 4 months ago. And she went and she made influencer celebrity meme coin called...
And it's unclear what her involvement was. I get the sense that she maybe got approached by some crypto people and they were like, you can make money. And she was like, great.
Yeah, that very well could be it. But the thing is she was the face. She was promoting it. She's talking about it's going to go to the moon, which, by the way, makes it a security and therefore illegal. Breaking the law. It's so easy to do. Don't educate yourself. Just because people are doing it doesn't mean it doesn't have severe legal consequences. Also, note to all influencers who made an influencer coin, 99% chance you also broke the law. Talk to a lawyer. Anyway.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Dun, 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 breaking the law. Breaking the law. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, so Hawk Tua girl, she makes her meme coin. She releases it. And the team ends up rug pulling and selling 90% of the total supply of the token, taking about $50 million from people. One dude he made 1.5 or 1.1 million dollars from Mudang, and we know this because we can track it on chain, and then lost all of it in the Hawk2a meme coin. And here's the thing. I also got into a little bit of a spat with some guy on Twitter because he put out a post that I thought was really, really insensitive, where he's like, I have zero sympathy for idiots who lost their money in the Hawk coin, like fucking losers. Like, this is Darwinism. And I was just like, I was like, hey, man, really, really bullshit, horrific take. Because a lot of people who are new to this space and just see a coin pumping, they don't even know what a wallet is. They don't know what an altcoin is. They don't know that altcoin. They don't know they don't know anything. And I was like, that's a horrific take. If you want to have that take on people who are veterans of the space like you and me, sure, totally fine with that. But like, if we're gonna onboard people, we need to have empathy. We need to have empathy for people. Like, we've all been the new person who got wrecked on. We've all been wrecked multiple times, I would wager. I've been wrecked multiple times, particularly in those first two cycles. You know, I had lessons to learn, and I learned them. I probably still have a few more lessons to learn as well. We always do. And then he commented back, and he was like, "Oh yeah, if someone sits down at a slot machine and they lose all their money gambling, like, you gonna say the same thing to them?" And I was like, "No, because you can be a regular person. You could have never gambled. You could never set foot in a casino once in your life, but you know if you play a casino game, it's gambling. Whereas with these celebrity coins are marketed as investments with the expectation of a return. Again, illegal. And that's the problem. That's the problem. People dive into it thinking it's an investment. No one sits in front of a casino in front of a slot machine and goes like, I'm making my money back.
And my God, the Rusenlier on this like adjacent topic of influencers and meme coins. If I hear the song "Pump It Up" one more time, I am going to pump it up. Got to pump. I mean, first of all, love it. Gets me hype. But I don't. The other night I was on a live stream. I wasn't on it. I was hate watching, as Alex likes to say, scrolling through, just trying to catch up on my messages because we got a lot of them. And I saw Sage, some guy I didn't know, and some other guy I didn't know who were on this live stream with this token that was newly created. I think it was called Trust the Process. And they were all just popping to this song. And they were all saying like, guys, you don't know what's coming. A bunch of celebrities are going to talk about this starting tomorrow. You have no idea. This chart looks so good. And the worst part about it was it just looked like somebody who is reading off a script. Like, you know, the difference between like you just stumble upon a coin and you're like, oh my God, this looks good. Let me look at the white paper. Oh my God.
They do that daily, lol.
Yeah, they do that daily. And it just breaks my heart because there are people scrolling by who have absolutely no idea, who've never seen them before. And TikTok's got the best algorithm in the game and can't tell that this is illegal and absolute shit. And, we don't need to belabor the point except to say it's everywhere all the time. And that's why I wanted to talk about Get Rich Nick or Choose Rich Nick or whatever, because like that was so we got people on TikTok pumping their tokens. We got Hawk2a Girl. We got influencers at an Avalanche yacht party at Art Basel in Miami taping their
lovely
their genitals to the wall of a boat in front of I don't know, if I had more AVAX, I would sell it. Like, what are they doing? Why are we trusting these people in our story?
Drugs are bad for you. This in a controlled, sometimes fine, but the hard ones, just you go down that. If the DARE cops who came into school and told us that, like, about drugs are bad, I feel like for the most part they just like make us interested, like, ooh, they make you feel what way? But if they were just like, drugs are bad, and then just had a picture of men taping their genitalias to a yacht boat, they'd be I feel like it'd be way more effective.
Honestly, Near Protocol, if you see this, like, why did you? I get it.
Oh, that was AFAX.
It's Miami.
Yeah, AFAX or was Near? You said
did I
Near
say Near?
Protocol.
I'm sorry, I read a comment that said Near. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Near. Avalanche, shame on you. Like, I get it. You got to have a wild party in Miami because that's like the cultural thing to do at that particular crypto scene. And, boats are fun. I like boats.
Boats are
fun.
Like,
drinking on a boat. But like,
have you ever drank on a boat though while your scrotum is duct taped to the side of it? What an experience.
No, and honestly, Will, I have no desire to, especially not where everyone around me is like a social content creator and would film it.
Yeah, but like, are you even a cryptocurrency influencer then if you haven't, Or are you just the host of a fake radio show?
Don't come for me.
Come for him.
Fact check yourself, brother. That's exactly right. I'm the host of a fake radio show. Yeah. And if you like this fake radio show, it's time for me to do a commercial and tell you, if you haven't seen it yet, the Discord is on the screen. We have a totally free Discord server where you can hang out with us. You can see the different kinds of tokens we're spending time with. You can catch all the links for our show. And at the riseupmorningshow.com, we've got even more good stuff for you. We do classes. We do coaching. You can sit down with us. You don't have to spend $1 to come hang out with us all the time. But if you want to accelerate your learning journey, we even have premium memberships that are like $19 or less a month that will get you big time discounts. You can get for $19 a month. If you want to take a coaching with me, with Will, with Alex every single month, you can save $100 on that every single time. The discounts pay for themselves, but you don't have to pay a dime to come hang out, ask your questions, share what you know, learn and grow. And just like Will said, the culture is everything. If you're hanging out with influencers who make you feel bad for asking a question, you're in the wrong place.
You dump those influencers.
Dump them like, you know, Cardano at the top, baby. You got to get rid of those things. We want to
dump them like Sabrina Carpenter and that weird looking Irish guy.
I don't know why people think he's hot. It must be an energy thing.
He's the ugly hot, right? It's the ugly hot. It's my girlfriend describes it to me, and I still don't fully understand it because they look nothing like me. But you know, apparently they're attractive.
Yeah, apparently they're attractive. So okay, we have a couple questions coming in the chat. Do you want to do maybe pick up a couple of questions as we like ride the show into the sunset, or is there another topic of interest that you wanted to explore today?
No, I think I just want to say I would love to see Hawk to a girl in jail, even if she herself didn't sell, because she allowed herself to be a complicit in a crime and the stealing of millions of dollars from people. So straight to jail. You steal millions of dollars from people, you go straight to jail.
I wish I had a jail sound.
And remember, everybody, if you break the law, you go to jail. Though those are my political thoughts and opinions. Call it crazy. Yeah, I don't have anything else to really talk about for myself, so I guess we'll field some questions. Oh, Sean Griffin has been trying to get our attention on Talent Protocol. And Evan and Al, we've talked about it on the show before. Evan, you're more familiar with it than myself. For me, Sean, I'm going to tell you right now, Talent Protocol is a coin that I think is cool, but it's not something I invest in. As I said earlier, I invest in platform cryptocurrencies and DeFi coins because they're things I know, they're things I can measure, I can see money going to it. It makes me feel good and confident about that. Talent Protocol, though, I think is an interesting project. Evan and Alex know more, though. They can tell you and educate you a bit better on it.
Yeah, Talent Protocol came to my attention a couple of months ago on Warpcast. Warpcast is on Farcaster, which is like a protocol on the base network, the Ethereum layer 2. And already, if you're a total beginner, I've lost you, but stay with me. This is an open, decentralized place that people can build their apps. And Talent Protocol is one such app that helps people to verify their credentials, specifically like what they have done for work. You think about if you're a developer and you've got a GitHub and you want to add tokens to that to increase like how easy it is for somebody to verify a thing about you or to attest to a thing about you, that you went to school at Yale or that you contributed to the GitHub for PayPal or whatever it might be, that you know Rust, that you know Solidity, and not just for developers, but also for people, like me. I have a protocol that says I played crypto the game. What did we miss?
Oh no, Sean Griffin goes, of course my internet freezes.
Of course my internet freezes.
Of course his internet freezes.
Of course his internet freezes. It's a Web3 platform that brings professional reputation on chain, okay? That's the TLDR. It's kind of like a world coin play where it's allowing us to showcase things about our identity in a new way that will be valuable increasingly online and off. And that we don't have good stuff for. Their kind of product is called a builder score. Based on your on-chain contributions. And the talent token is a utility token, and you can use it, spend it. There's 600 million talent tokens. Okay, 27% are allocated for growth, like airdrops, grants, partnerships. The core team has some. They've got some funding rounds. They did raise some money. And then about 13% is just for liquidity on exchanges, etc. The unlock schedule, I don't know as much about, and I just pulled up a quick Google, and I don't see anything about it, but it looks like it's got room to grow because it's like a 10 million market cap. It's number 1,800 or something on CoinGecko. And I would say because of like what it aims to do, and there isn't really a lot of competition in this niche, and they've got a lot of attention and adoption among people. I would say the best way to play this is, if you want to invest, maybe buy a little bit just so you pay attention, but don't feel you need to buy it. I would go sign up for it. I would look to go use Talent Protocol, and maybe get a couple of the tokens so you can start using it. It's talentprotocol.com. You can sign up with whichever wallet is most active on chain and get a builder score for yourself, because if they're going to do an airdrop, I bet that's the number one way they're going to do it, is by distributing tokens to people who have talent scores.
So I have some information on the vesting schedule. All the tokens will be fully released. Oh yeah, I will, baby. All the tokens will be fully released by the end of 2027. Current inflation rate, I don't see it. Let's see, what is it? Monthly. Every single month you get a release of 2.81%. No, actually, starting February it'll be 2.44%. So every single month, 2.44% of the supply will be released. Once we get to July of 2025, that will lower. Once we get to October of 2025, that'll lower. February of 2026, it lowers again. So the monthly inflation is only going to start decreasing, but you are looking at basically a 3%, 2.5% increase a month.
And it looks like they've done an airdrop already. I'm so sorry. The airdrop is passed. So you can still check it out, and you can still participate and still create your talent passport and buy the token and do that kind of thing. And honestly, it might be a better time to do it now because people will have sold. I think they're in a bit of a dip.
Yeah, let's see. Everything's dipping right now for the most part,
Right.
And yeah, it's down 8% today. It has an $8.6 million market cap. God, this thing is tiny.
Oh, dang.
It looks like it was. It was. Last night it was at 10 cents. So, it's really dipping over. It looks like you're going to have a very large dip in talent. You could have it fall down to about like a $5 million market cap, it looks like to me. Yeah, I'd be looking at a $5 million market cap for Talent Protocol, down to about 5 or 6 cents or so. Maybe a little bit better, maybe a little worse. I saw a question, could it run like Aerodrome? I don't think
it's likely to.
No, because
it's not the same kind of product.
It's not the same kind of product.
And that's the thing, is I don't think this product...
Yeah, you can make money off of it.
That's exactly right. I don't think this product is gonna have a bajillion $trillion market cap. I think the token is kind of separate from, or it was a hype narrative. It's a cool hype thing that pumped, that might increase in value because people will definitely start to use it if it continues to maintain this kind of position in the market. But whether or not that will translate to gains for the token, I almost see this as like a VET or like a chain link, where most of the time the price is going to reflect the value of the company, and the value of the company will be kind of decoupled from some hype and speculation. Is my take on it.
Yeah, I really like the blockchain use case, but I don't like it enough to invest in it. Nothing personal against Talent Protocol. I think what they're doing is cooler than the overwhelming majority of crypto tokens out there that will have far better, larger market caps than Talent. But that's just
if I wanted to invest in this tech and generate a return for myself, I would look to something. I don't know what you would do, Will. I'd maybe look to something like Optimism or ZK Sync, because they're doing verified credentials, they're doing roll up technology, or even find, I don't know, look to see what kind of companies are using their product to do DeFi stuff, to do something that generates revenue. That's what I would be looking at to capitalize on like this innovation more than their token.
Yeah, but I see Lori and a few other people mentioned Near Protocol. I like Near Protocol. I also like Zeus.
Yeah, give us the TL on Near.
I'm not a huge fan of Hedera, so let's take those three. Near Protocol I really like, because when we have conversations with developers love building on Near Protocol. They like it. They always go back to it. It's interesting. But the thing is Near Protocol has really, really, really good adoption levels for their top decentralized applications. I did very recently, though, see weakness on that for the first time in like 5 years. I actually seen the adoption of Near's top decentralized applications start to decrease. So that'll be something to keep our eye on, because without that, there's not a whole lot going for Near. But they've been able to have great adoption usage levels. And you can measure this on something called DApp Radar, DAPPRADAR, DApp Radar. Pull up Near Protocol. You can see that their top apps, the amount of wallets being created is actually seeing a little bit of weakness. So it's something to keep an eye on. But I do really like Near Protocol. Hedera, not a huge fan of Hedera. I don't hate Hedera. I don't love Hedera. Nothing really against it. I just haven't seen enough growth on it from an adoption standpoint. For that, go to a site called DeFi Llama, DeFi Llama, LLAMA. And you can measure the total amount of money being put on it. Now, it has about $300 million in TVL, total value locked, the amount of money on it. $300 million ain't nothing. It's also not a lot for a coin that's been around as long as it has. So because of that, I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't invest in it. And then the other one was Zeus. Now, Zeus is interesting. Zeus is an altcoin on Solana. Zeus's solution is meant to help bridge Bitcoin through Zeus onto Solana so that you can use Bitcoin within Solana's ecosystem and use like the really great DeFi tools that exist on Solana. That is a narrative that I'm bullish on. I haven't looked at Zeus's price lately. I haven't looked at its adoption level, but the use case I like. Just understand that Zeus has a lot of competition right now with wrapped Bitcoin on Coinbase. So who's gonna win that race? Maybe neither one really needs to win. Base
why
and
would
Solana
why
are both
would
super
they?
hot ecosystems could be attractive to bring Bitcoin in.
That was going to be my
it could be
question.
attractive
Like,
to bring
why would
Bitcoin
they
in so that you can earn interest on your Bitcoin, right? The thing is I feel like wrapped Coinbase is safer for that though, because you can take your Bitcoin and keep it on Coinbase, and then just have wrapped Bitcoin be replicated on chain. You don't have to go through a step to potentially lose it. You know, it's a little safer, air quotes. And they are competing with like native DeFi built on Bitcoin through platform like Stacks or ordinals and runes and all that kind of stuff. I just think that because those networks, those DeFi, the DeFi built on Bitcoin, so slow right now and it's expensive, that like you'd want to bring it onto wrapped Coinbase for Base or to
100%.
take it on through Zeus to Solana because like it's way cheaper and way faster. The DeFi products built on Bitcoin are not competitive in any way, shape, or form with the DeFi products built on Solana and Base. So like why would I do it? But I think one day that'll change. We'll see. I don't know.
And then you mentioned HBAR, but I feel like let's just touch on ISO.
Well, I talked about Hedera.
I guess you blipped for me. I'm sorry. I might have missed it when I was responding to this comment. If you like hearing about certain altcoins, if you want to hear our thoughts on them, really the best place for it is the Discord, and that's where we take picks for our Wednesday night show, which is all about doing altcoin research. Sometimes we have expert guests, and all the time we try to answer your questions around what do you think about this or that altcoin. That is Rise Up After Dark. We're live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central, and all the episodes of that show and this show, they live on YouTube forever. You can find our YouTube on the screen here if you're watching on TikTok. And if you're on YouTube, I hope you're watching us on your TV because we do look good that way. And we'd love to see you there. In the Discord, drop your altcoin. We have a thread called altcoin grades, but you can put them anywhere. Just say, Evan, Will, Alex, what do you think about, this altcoin? Do it on After Dark. Or if you're a premium member, you can just ask us for our thoughts on a thing. And Will has made a ton of videos already. I know Alex will do it. I'll do it too. If you want to hear our thoughts on a particular project, protocol, token, then that's the best way to do it. And the Discord is discord.gg/riseup. Will, what do you think? You want to do a final thought and ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset before tomorrow?
Yeah. We're at a point in the market right now where if we correct the way I think we're going to correct, you're going to have a lot of people experiencing pain in the crypto market for the first time. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to be like experiencing a 30% fall in an altcoin, and they're going to be panicking. Here's one bit of advice. When you sell, you're going to feel like you have to take your cash or your stable coins and immediately put it into another altcoin. What happens? Let's say you had a 80% gain and you're selling, and then you immediately put it right back into a coin, but you haven't taken the time to analyze to see which way the market's going, which way Bitcoin's going. Bitcoin goes down, your 80% gain just gone because that altcoin's also falling. So, get used to when you sell, not putting it into anything right away. Keep it in cash, keep it in stable coins. If you're on Coinbase, you can earn interest off your stable coin. So you are making money. But that's a big mistake, is rushing from an altcoin to another altcoin. You're going to lose money if you do that. So just a word of advice.
Yeah, good word of advice. And don't be afraid to sell. It's the pay for the play, like Amsfar says, and it is the top. I don't know if it's the top. I don't know if it's going to go on for 3 more months or for 6 more months or 9 more months. We have some good indicators, but the best thing to do is to, if you have a price target for something, set some stops on the way up that you can capitalize on some of that profit. The absolute worst position to be in, I'm thinking about all our friends who are invested in Arrow right now. If you haven't taken profit on that token, even though you've had a lot of chances to, it might be time, if you haven't set a price target for it, it might be time to sit down and ask yourself, what do I think this token is going to get to? And if the answer is, I don't know, $5 a token, then to ask yourself, where would I want to take profit on the way up? Maybe I need to take some profit right now if I haven't yet. And maybe I need to take a little more when it hits $3 or if it hits $3.50. And that way, if it doesn't, if something changes, because it can always change. If an FTX happens, if, Trump rugs us and runs away to Mexico, I don't know. MicroStrategy sells all their Bitcoin. Who knows what could happen? Every day somebody tapes their banana or their, what to a wall. I mean, it's
top signals. These are all top
signals. And they're happening everywhere around us all the time. And that doesn't mean you should be afraid, but it means you need.
And I'm saying local tops. We're saying local tops.
That's right.
If you think the bull market's still going, if there's a correction here, it lasts for 1-2 weeks, and then boom, Santa rally.
That's right.
That's my personal.
But because we're approaching that, we're in a bull market. That means, one day we will be back at a lower point than where we are now, and it will not be good to hold this crypto you're buying today when it's at a low for a long time. So you just need to have a plan. Don't be scared, but make a plan. And we invite you to come to hang out with us to make that plan for yourself. Don't rely on people on crypto TikTok, for God's sake.
Yep. And guys, I'll be right after I hop off of this, I will be making my altcoin season update video. One other thing that also came through the Discord is, for those of you who are in the Discord, this is a great thing. I would love for you guys to do this. Someone was like, hey, Will, do you have a list here in Discord that talks about the TA indicators that you use and like reasonings why? Yes. And I was like, oh, that's a good digital asset. So like this week, I'm going to put together one. We'll probably have it up for sale for like, I don't know, $5 or whatever. And then premium plus members can get it for free.
Sounds great.
But I'll put that up. But if there's like other like little, I don't know, like little cheat sheets or something, other digital products that you guys would like to see, we'll put them up for sale, or we'll put them up for free, or we'll put them up at a discount. It just depends on how much work. If it's something light, like, hey, what TA indicators you use, it'll be free for premium plus members.
Yeah, and Will's already got a great research template that's there that you can buy on the riseupmorningshow.com. And we've got PDF guides that Alex has made, and we've got recordings of the live classes that we've done.
Have we set that up to have it be free for premium plus members, the crypto research guide?
No, if you're a premium or premium plus member and you want it, I will drop it in I need to find our channel. It went away. I am glad to put it in that channel though. If you want me to.
Because I think that would be a great thing for him. I'd like to give it to him for free.
Then stay tuned on that. I will make a quick announcement in the premium announcements when that is there for you, and you can get all the other PDF download guides. And the secret sauce is you can become a premium member totally for free, like for 7 days. Free trial. Try it before you buy it. Come get all the perks, because there's a lot of cool perks. If you don't know where to go to get a premium membership, it's the riseupmorningshow.com has a button. It'll take you to our Patreon. We use Patreon for the membership, and then all the stuff that we give you happens in Discord. So if you get lost, just send us a message on Discord. I want to try the premium trial, and we'll hook you up. It's fun. All that's missing is you. So, my friends, thank you for another great episode of the Rise Up Morning Show. We'll be back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And in the meantime, you can catch us in the chat, in the Discord. Stay safe, everybody. Be well. And of course,